Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you my 1st of December box that I'm making. So this is just a little kind of a mini one. I'm also going to wrap all of the gifts inside so that it's a bit more exciting. I'll probably wrap the box as well. So basically I've started off with a shoe box. You can use any kind of box you like for this. You know, you can buy a pre-bought box or just find a cardboard box, whatever. I've done all sorts in the past. So usually what I do 1st of December box rather than a Christmas Eve box. I've done that for quite a few years for my two girls. Some people like Christmas Eve boxes, which is absolutely fine. We all have our own thoughts, opinions, likes, dislikes. So whatever, no judgment here. But for me personally, I prefer to do a 1st of December box than a Christmas Eve box because I think that Christmas Eve is just one night before the actual Christmas day, obviously. And if your children or grandchildren or whoever you're making the box for will be receiving any presents for Christmas, then I feel like you won't get the most use out of the things in the Christmas Eve box. People like to put pajamas or mugs or, you know, Christmas related activities or games or treats and things like that in there. But I feel like if you give that at the beginning of December, on the 1st of December, for the build up to Christmas, you've got the use of your Christmas pajamas, your Christmas mugs, or activities, games. So you can include things you could do together throughout December. So previously I've done like a memories maker kind of advent calendar type thing for the girls, where I've done things that we would do usually, like we might do a Christmas lights drive, or we might go to see a Christmas film, or we might have a Christmas film quiz or things like that. You can include things like that in your 1st of December box as well. So there's just a few little ideas there. But like I said, if you've got Christmas pajamas, you want to be able to use them for the whole of December, not just Christmas Eve. So I'm not doing them for my children this year. I've done them for a few years, but Hannah is 18, Rebecca is 16 and a half. They obviously have plenty of Christmas mugs, Christmas pajamas and things like that. So I'm doing one this year for my niece. Just a little mini one, not a big one that I would have done my children, because her mum is probably doing something for her as well. But, so we're going to start off. I've got a shoe box here. Just a, you know, one that I've saved up basically. And I've got lots of bits and bobs in there. I'm going to show you what I've got, because it might be of interest to you. So, I've picked up a couple of little bath bombs. These are really cute. They don't have to be costly. These are just from Primark. You can get bath bombs pretty much anywhere. They do some really lovely ones in Lush if you shop there, and there's some really nice ones in there. Some little candy cane, elf drinking straws. I'm not entirely sure what they are because I've not used these before. We've never had these. Magic zipper, but I think my niece will really like these. These are only £1 from B&M. I think these bath bombs were only like £1.50-ish, I think. Got some little candy canes. I know that these are super Christmassy. She'll really like these. And these were only £1 from, I think they were from B&M, these ones. So your 1st of December box can be as expensive or as cheap as you like, really. So you can put lots of expensive things in there, or you can just put some nice goodies in there. Really, it depends on your budget and your personal circumstances and your preferences and what you like. So I've got a little elf mask here. So I have actually put in a Santa one as well. This one is for my sister, so that they can do these at the same time. I thought that might be kind of an enjoyable little thing for them to do together. We've got a couple of bags of chocolate coins. We've got white and we've got normal milk chocolate as well. We have some instant hot chocolates here. So you can buy a tub of hot chocolate or just some hot chocolate sachets. I was looking for the sachets, but I couldn't find them in Home Bargains or B&M that I was looking for. So I thought these would be quite good. You can just, you know, she can pop the bits in herself. And I've also put some pink and white. Are they pink and white? Yeah, pink and white marshmallows in there as well, so that she can pop that on the top of a hot chocolate. Now this game, whilst not strictly Christmas related, they can play it for the whole of December and for any time they like, really. So this looks like a really fun game. It's called You Laugh, You Lose, and basically you've just got to try and make each other laugh. And she can play it with her mum, she can play it with her friends, and I just thought it would be a really fun activity over the month of December that they can do together. Got some little teddy bear socks. These are actually from B&M. They are super soft, really cute, little teddy bears on them. They were only a couple of pounds, I think. So, it doesn't have to be costly, like I said, but they're nice and cozy for the winter. And to match the socks, I actually bought the pyjamas first. So I picked some of these up, some teddy bear pyjamas. They are really sweet and they're nice and soft, and I think she'll really enjoy those. They were not too costly. I bought these from Primark and they were about £7, I think. So you've got the top and you've got the bottoms there. Got another couple of little treat items. We've got some tube of Smarties. You can't not have a tube of sweets at Christmas, can you? And last thing I've put in my 1st of December box is some of this. So I thought about buying a gingerbread house kit. I have bought them that in the past and they've enjoyed it. They've also had a chocolate kit in the past as well, where you've got slabs of chocolate and you make like a house out of chocolate if you're not a fan of gingerbread, which Rebecca is not. But thought this was quite a fun idea. So you make your own Christmas gingerbread trees. So you've got all the things in there that you need to bake them with, and then you can make them and assemble them and decorate them yourself. So that's also a nice activity to do during December. And this was actually only £1.69 from Home Bargains. So that is a bargain. So obviously I've got just about the right amount of stuff here to fit in a box. And it wasn't too costly for me, and I think she's going to really love it. It's just some nice little gift for her, really, to celebrate Christmas. And I think because I'm not doing it for my children anymore, I want to still do it for somebody else, and my niece is the perfect person to use to do that for. Just an excuse for me to buy some Christmas things, really, isn't it? But I'm going to get on and wrap these things up, and I will show you the finished product. So, as you can see, I've got the shoebox here. I'm just emptying it all out. Everything fits perfectly in there at the moment, but you know what it's like. When you wrap things up, they take up a little bit more space. So you can't always fit everything back in. So you've got to be mindful of that when wrapping things. Now, I'm not the best at wrapping boxes. I do it differently every single time. So every time I do something like this, it changes how I do it. And I don't know the best way. So this time I'm just covering the sides first, because I feel like because the lid is attached to the box, and obviously the lid opens and closes, depending on how you wrap the paper over the lid and the rest of the box, it will potentially tear or be a bit loose in areas. So I feel if I try and do it in sections, it might sort of stay a little bit more in place. So wrapping the sides first. It's never easy to do this. It's a really fiddly job, isn't it? And I'm just sort of tucking it over inside. I'm not going to worry too much about the inside of the box because it's going to be full with goodies, so I don't think my niece is going to be too bothered. The outside is going to look nice and like a candy cane and very Christmassy. I've also got some green ribbon type stuff that came with the throws that I bought, or the fleeces that I bought, and that will match really well with this. And I just tie it around the box at the end when I'm finished to make it look a bit prettier. I'm just trying to cut this into strips. As you can see, it's not going very well. It's taking a very long time. Half off the camera there, I'm sorry. I was sort of focusing a little bit too much on what I was actually doing than whether it was in shot or not. Just trying to like tuck bits in really and make sure it's all stuck down all the way around, all the little bits that could like flap up and rip easily, because I don't want that, because I don't want to have to do it all again. Trying to flatten it all down. There we go. Right, I'm going to get on and unwrap the rest of this box a minute, and I will see you once it's done. So I'm just sticking the last bits down now of the box. So there's little bits on the sides of the box there. You can see them on that one, the lid. The actual box part I've covered over so you can't see those. But basically makes it feel quite flimsy. So I just reinforce those bits with a bit of extra tape just to make sure that you can't puncture through them with your fingers accidentally, because that will rip the whole lot off. Okay, so that is the box pretty much complete now. I'm not doing the inside, like I said, and I haven't done the bottom because it's not going to make much difference. She's not going to be looking at the bottom. So next I'm going to wrap all of the little gifts. I try and make the most out of the wrapping paper by squashing them up as close as I can to each other and, you know, just not wasting any paper really. So I am going to try and remember where I got all the items from within the box when I packed it all in the first time around before wrapping them. So that I can put them all back in the same places, because I know that they roughly fit when I did it that way. Obviously it's going to be a little tighter because of the paper, but hopefully they're all going to fit back in. So I've chosen to use 3 or 4 different kinds of wrapping paper, different patterns, just to make it a little bit more fun. Rather than just all one type, you can do whatever you like, obviously. It's entirely up to you. You can not wrap them at all. Some people just don't like to wrap them. I think it's a little bit more of excitement for whoever is opening them, depending on the gifts, obviously. Sometimes I'm not going to wrap the chocolate coins because they're in their own little nets anyway. And yeah, just felt like I don't want to wrap those. But everything else I do like to wrap. And I am quite quick at wrapping these days. I've had quite a lot of, 18 years of practice with my children, so fairly quick at wrapping presents. And generally I just use 3 bits of sticky tape on each present, just, because that's all it needs really. Some need a little bit more depending on the shape. So these face masks, I am writing one for Alice and one for Mummy, just so they know who they are for when they open them. They can have a nice little evening doing that together. I know my niece is only 8, so it's not obviously recommended to use a lot of face creams and products and things for a young child or a child. But once in a blue moon, it's not going to be the end of the world, so just a nice little thing for them to do, really. So I'm just going to get the last of the presents wrapped now. Thankfully, there weren't too many to do, and I can hopefully get them all back in the box in a minute. I really love these teddy bear pyjamas from Primark. They have loads of different Christmas ones. These ones are like quite thin but fairly soft as well, so they should be nice and cozy for the winter and for Christmas. And teddy bears seem to be in at the moment. I always size up on my pyjamas in Primark, just one size bigger, especially in the children's, because they do seem to be a little tight fitting, so especially if you want to allow some room for growth. I always find something like this is like a giant game of Tetris, just trying to fit all the pieces in wherever they go really, and as best as you can. The lid basically does fit, and once I've got the ribbon tied around it, it will be fine. So there is the finished box. I obviously haven't wrapped up the bottom, but that's not a big problem. Nobody looks at the bottom anyway. One thing to bear in mind if you're going to do this is that it takes up a lot more room when you wrap an item. So if you filled your box to the max like I have anyway, once you've wrapped everything, there's basically no room to close the box. So just bear that in mind, but I think it looks really pretty, and hopefully my niece is going to absolutely love this. And it's a bit of excitement on the 1st of December for the build up to Christmas. I'm also going to use this. I got this free with some fleeces that I bought. Well, not free, it was part of the packaging. But I'm going to tie this around it. Just to, one, to help keep it closed. And two, to make it look a bit pretty. So I'm going to need to tie two pieces together, I think. Because it's not going to fit otherwise. So we're just going to do this. Like that. That'll be at the bottom. So hopefully nobody will see it. And then we'll make a little bow on the top. Or we'll try and make a little bow on the top anyway. Beautiful. That looks brilliant. I really like that. I think she's going to absolutely love it. Thank you so much everybody for watching my little mini 1st of December box video. Super easy. You can make it, like I said, as expensive or as affordable as you'd like. I haven't made it too expensive because I'm not sure what my sister is doing for my niece. I have told my sister I'm doing this for her, so she's aware. Because I don't want to ruin any fun that she may have already planned. But because, like I said, my children are older, they don't necessarily want something like this anymore. They don't necessarily need something like this anymore with, you know, pyjamas and mugs and all sorts, because they've got all that sort of stuff anyway. But I enjoy doing it, so, you know, it's all about the fun, really. Christmas fun. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it gave you a few little tips or ideas. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!